Hello Dollhouse friends! I have just come back from the most wonderful trip. I've been to my first miniature show ever. Everyone tells me that I started at the top because I went to the Bishop miniature show in Chicago. And you see all the flags on here. These are all from countries that are represented at this show. This is the first time I've ever been to a show, and I hear there are lots and lots of wonderful shows. I got lots of recommendations for other ones to see. I would love to get to the show in Kensington in England. There's a few others. This flyer says that there are 223 of the world's finest exhibitors, no argument there, who represent 24 countries and 33 US states. They had 95 international dealers and 128 US dealers at this show. It was a huge hallway and 3 ballrooms packed full of everything you can imagine. I had gone with a kind of a mental shopping list of specific things I was looking for. There was one thing that I did not find anywhere, so maybe I'll have to figure out how to make it myself. I was looking for a set of golf clubs, like vintagey looking golf clubs for the gentleman doll in my house. And that was the only thing I didn't find there. I think the most mind-boggling thing I saw was a chandelier that it was a pretty big size. You would have to, I'll put in a clip of it here. You would have to put it in like the grand ballroom of a very large dollhouse. I always want to get my finger near the scale. It was made of Swarovski, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Swarovski crystals, I think that's how it's said, and it was a mere $10,000. Somebody that I met told me that last year there was a $12,000 one that this artist had made, and it got purchased. I don't know if the $10,000 one got purchased this year or not. I didn't buy it. But I had a wonderful time. I got to meet, I met up there. This was at the Marriott Hotel in Chicago. The added bonus for me was that one of my 3 daughters lives in Chicago, and I miss her terribly. So I got to see her for a couple of the days that I was there. I got there because one of my very best friends, who now lives in North Carolina, so I don't get to see her very much because we actually haven't lived near each other since high school. She talked me into going and doing this, and we met up there and talked ourselves hoarse, catching up on our lives, and going back and forth to the miniature show, and coming back to sort of clear our minds, get lunch, lie down for a few minutes, close your eyes because we were squinting a lot, go back and look at more things. We took a class one day, and I will show you what we made in the class. But what I would like to do in this video is go through my haul, and this is going to be sort of like miniature show part 2 or Christmas morning for me, because honestly I can't even really remember what I purchased. I remember some things, but I let myself forget because I thought it would be fun to just look at them all again. But also, I mean, we just saw so many things and did so much, and we're so busy, but in the best possible way, that everything's a little bit of a blur, and I'm just kind of like, I honestly can't remember what things I bought. I saved up some of my spending. I kind of get like a weekly dollhouse spending allowance of not very much money, but I will save it up and get myself a little bit of something, get some wallpaper or piece of furniture or 2 or something. But I wanted to really buy some special things while I was out there, some really one of a kind, really special things. And so I started saving up for this trip probably about a year ago, to just have guilt-free money, money that was, I had saved, week by week, $10 here, $5 there, $20 there, that I could go and just do whatever I wanted to do with it. No guilt, no worries about the budget, because it had already been earmarked for that. So that made it really, really fun, because I didn't have to walk away feeling guilty about having racked up the charge card or blown the budget or anything like that. So let me get the piece that we made in the workshop we took. There were a large number of workshops. We took one. It was an all-day, 8 hours. We were practically blind at the end of it, but let me show you what we made. So the class that we took was with Paula Gilhooly, and it was making a floral arrangement. Here's my floral arrangement. It stands probably a little under, maybe just about 3 inches tall. It's all made of paper and wire. Get that to zoom in there so you can see. There we go. See the focus there. The only thing we did not make in the class were these two Pussy Willow sprays right here, and she did those ahead of time for us because she said it's multiple steps and you have to allow it to dry in between, and we wouldn't have been able to do it in one day because there's too much time of waiting for this to dry, and then you got to go back and do the next step. So yeah, but everything else is made of paper. Unfortunately, the paper that we used is a special silk crepe paper that she's not able to get anymore. The person she was getting it from has got sort of one last shipment of it, and Paula is buying a huge quantity of that paper, but when that's gone, that's gone. So I would have to find another source. The pieces were given to us in, they were die cut sheets of paper where you just kind of popped out or did the last little snip. There's a word for what they call that thing that attaches something to the thing that it was cut out of. So I don't know what it is, but we had to snip, just snip the little die cut pieces out of the big piece of paper, and then we would do things to curl and shape them, and used 2 kinds of glue in combination with each other to glue them onto the wires, and then they provided the little vase. So yeah, so it was fun. Unfortunately, we had the one table in the entire class that did not have access to outlets, so even though we had all brought task lamps, we had been told we could bring lamps, which I had, with, that plugged in and had, and we brought extension cords, and it didn't matter, the extension cords wouldn't reach, the nearest plug was, 40 feet away or something. It was crazy, 30 feet away. So we were a little bit blind at the end of the class, and rather achy in the shoulder blades and stiff from sitting for so long, but we're so proud of what we made, and feel like we learned some skills that if we could find the proper die cuts or punches, or learn to cut certain shapes with tiny little scissors, that we could probably make more things like this. And that was really exciting. One of the things I loved about being at this show was that almost everyone was willing to tell you how they did things or where they got things. There were only 1 or 2 people who kind of kept their methods or their sources secret, and even those people were just so nice, and they would tell you, I'll tell you, I use this and in this, but this one piece here, that's my secret that I don't share. And they were kind of just not, I don't know how to explain it. They weren't nobody was hostile about it. They were just kind of that's my closely guarded secret. They were almost apologetic for keeping secrets. And I don't know if other people were like this, but my friend and I were like, don't blame you a bit, that's good, good for you. Keep your secrets, that's wonderful. But most people were so willing to just give us advice and share information about how we could make things. And people were willing to say, oh, I don't have that, but over at table such and such, go see Jane so-and-so. She's got the most wonderful little tiny dolls like you're talking about. You'll love hers. It's just the most friendly group of people. Both the sellers, the vendors, and the people that we, sat with at classes or met on the shuttle from the airport or whatever. Everyone was just so warm and welcoming and friendly and helpful. And I'm just, it's really, I have to work this afternoon, my other job, and I just, it's going to be really hard to get back to real life after that. But let's get on with the haul. Let's start opening some packages. Okay. As much as possible, I am going to try to let you know what vendors I got things from. I was trying to keep receipts and business cards with everything that I bought, and sometimes it just wasn't possible to keep track of everything, but I did try. This is a kit that I bought. That was another thing that I didn't expect to find, was kits, tools, and supplies, and so that was really delightful. This is for a not work rug, or I think this one I might actually hang on the wall in a room as a tapestry because it's elongated, and the peacock I think will just look nicer hanging on the wall. But I did get, these are Teresa Lehman's designs from, it's her miniature artistry, teresalehman.weebly.com. I'm hoping that you can zoom in on these cards as I show them, and or whatever information I can provide, so that if you're interested in something, you can see them. I'll try to see if I can link everything in the comments for this video as well. So she had a lot of beautiful designs. It was really hard for me to choose one, but I had to remind myself, well, when I get this one done, which will take forever, I can get another one. So this will measure 6 1/8 by 2 inches when it's done. And that may be something I'm really interested in, trying to design my own knotwork kits and rugs. Knotwork, although I've done cross stitch and other kinds of needlepoint in the past, and quilting, and I'm not an inexperienced person when it comes to sewing needles. Knotwork was something I had not heard of before. This is a kit to make a Christmas tree. I had seen these Christmas tree shapes in stores before. They're just this sort of, and I hated them because I was like, it's like a bottle brush that's been dipped in paint, and I didn't get it. Well, sorry, battery died. So I had seen these bottle brush Christmas tree things before, and I hated them. I just thought they looked so fake and everything. But someone was selling Christmas tree making kits, and told me that you take this, if you don't want the white part on it, you just snip that off with scissors, and then you buy these rolls, which she included in the kit, of tree branch stuff. And as I was looking at other trees for sale at different vendors, I realized that they were all using this and stuffing branches into them. So I wonder if this was never meant to actually be used as a tree, and I'm just, that dumb that I thought this was supposed to be used as a tree by itself. I think this is just supposed to be the thing that you stick your branches in to make your tree. So a Christmas tree was on my shopping list, and I did see a tree that would have been absolutely perfect for the dollhouse that I'm working on. However, even with all my saving effort, I could not spend $850 on a tree without leaving myself pretty much nothing to buy any other things with, and I didn't want to go home with only one thing. So I bought the kit, which, if I remember, it was $25. And, I'll be able to decorate it myself, which I think is actually going to be really fun. It means I got to do, searching for ornaments. Came with instructions, and this was from Small Treasures Miniatures. So I think that's going to be really fun to do, and then it can make the tree look the way I want it to look. So that's another thing I got. All right, let's continue. I have 2 shopping bags full, so get yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, glass of wine, and sit down and relax, and let's see what else we've got. From Hannon Miniatures. H-A-N-N-O-N, Hannon Miniatures. And I need some scissors to get that open. Alright, oh yes, this one I do remember. Here's the card. Hannon Miniatures. Hopefully you can see that alright. This one I thought would just be lovely to use. It's, it would be a piece of furniture that has been repainted and repurposed, and I thought this would just be lovely in the older daughter's bedroom. Isn't that beautiful? And it has little doors that come out, and then this, and I think it would be lovely to have, you know, sort of a piece of a dress or a blanket or something hanging out of the top. So this is one of the things that I just fell in love with instantly and had to have. Lots of cards that I collected from places that I want to shop in the future. This was kind of my second day when I had pretty much exhausted my funds. I started collecting cards from places, or even if I did buy something from them, but I knew I wanted to go back, I collected business cards from people so that I could make sure that I knew where they all were and could get back to them. Miniature show I would love to, museum I would love to see. There was a table with information about shows and museums. So, you know, I've really been to not very many places at all. And only this one show. So I've got a huge bucket list of places I need to go. Jen Storp Designs. That card doesn't translate into a video very well. Miniature Museum of Greater St. Louis, another place I've got to go. Natalia Frank is somebody I follow. I don't know if she was there or not. I didn't find her. I may have seen her and not realized I was seeing her. She makes beautiful petty point rug patterns, which is another thing I want to do. Met Minnie's show in October. Maybe I could get to that. Place in Maryland that I'd like to get to. Miniature period hinges and hardware, whole catalog of stuff. This is going to be a godsend. I've found some sources, but not enough sources for things like that. Dollhouses and Miniatures in Mooresville, North Carolina. Double bonus there because my best friend who I was at this show with lives in North Carolina, so this is doable. Atlanta Miniature Show by Wilson. This one's in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. She says we could drive there from where she lives without too much trouble. Midwest Miniatures Museum in Michigan. Would like to see that. Another artist. Another artist. I did find some Christmas ornaments. So my dollhouse is, I'm having it set in the late 1920s. And as I've said in other videos, that doesn't mean that I'm putting things from the 1920s in the house. It just means that I'm not putting in anything that came after the 1920s. So I was a little bit unsure about ornaments. I have been looking at images and trying to figure it out, but these all seemed, with the exception of this one, this little angel right here. This little beaded angel. I'm not sure about her. But there's a series of books that I read have read numerous times, by Maud Hart Lovelace, and it's based on her life growing up, end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, and she talks about going Christmas shopping with her best friend, and they would go shopping and they would look at absolutely everything, and their first day of Christmas shopping, all they bought was one Christmas ornament. And she lists the Christmas ornaments a number of times, and it does sound like there were quite a lot of rather interesting ornaments that she had. So I think that you can get away with a lot of things. Okay, this artist actually threw in a freebie. I don't know how I'm going to get this on screen. I don't think it's even possible. This is a ring in a box. I don't I don't think my camera can focus on anything that micro. I hope you can sort of see it. Little tiny micro ring, and that she threw in for free. I mean, what a sweetheart. But this is the set that I bought. Little cameo set. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. Little camera set. Cameo set, excuse me. The earrings and a brooch and a necklace. It's absolutely stunning. So that's going to go in one of the bedrooms, probably for the lady of the house. The little ring back in here. And I don't know offhand, because this is one of the cases where my information got separated from my purchase, so I will have to find, see if I can match up the card or the receipt somewhere with that and let you know who that was made by. Okay, next piece. Germany. This fellow's from Germany, Volker Arnold. And from him, he had all different kinds of things, all different, you know, in multiple sizes, but what I bought were these tiny, tiny little pieces here. Actually, I went back to him, so I think there's somewhere in here, there's another package where I have some more things. But these tiny little pieces here, you can see there's a, you can see if you get that in there, there's a rocking horse, a couple of little houses. Let me put them in this thing. A couple of little houses. This is a little miniature creche set, like a nativity scene. There's a little rocking horse, a little bear. What's this one right here? A little train. And my thinking with these is that I don't know if I'm going to paint them or not. I honestly kind of like them just plain, so I think I might not paint them. There is a little teeny bit of red detail on the horse and the bear, a little blue on the horse as well. So I think I'm going to leave them plain, but I'm going to very carefully use the tiniest dot of glue to attach a little hook or wire and use these as ornaments on my Christmas tree. So that's what I bought those for. And as tiny as they are, as afraid as I am to touch them because they're so small, they actually don't seem as fragile as you might think. All right. Continuing on. More little kits I bought. So this will make a little chest, and these are 1/48 scale, which I believe is what they call quarter scale. So a little chest, a little bed, and I can paint these or stain these as I choose. And this one is a pair, actually, of little bedside table stand drawers. And these are going to be toys in the children's room. And so once I bought those kits, and all the pieces are die cut, laser cut, and the hardware is included, I had to find a perfect little doll, which I think is what's in this package, to go with those toys. The perfect little doll was actually a lot more expensive than I felt justified in spending. But I liked this one because it came with the box. And I thought her dress was very suitable to the era that I'm working in. And she is really cute. She really is cute. Probably wasn't my favorite face of all the dolls that I saw. But as a child's plaything, I think it's just wonderful. You know, and comes with her own little box, so I'll probably put a little bit of, take a little bit of this tissue paper and put that in there and have the box nearby the bed, the doll bed or something like that, and have these displayed on the floor in the children's room. So that's all. I think that's going to make a nice little vignette, the little doll furniture and the doll for the children to play with. Okay, no idea what's in this box. I can't remember. Let's see. Oh, yes! Completely forgot about this. We were told that the man who made these baskets is no longer. He is deceased. And so those baskets were what was left. They were all the shop, the vendor had of his baskets. This is just one style. There were a number of different styles. There we go. And it was a tough choice for me to narrow it down to one. But the workmanship is beautiful. And I said, well, if he doesn't exist anymore, God rest him, maybe I need to learn how to make these. Figure out what they're made of and learn how to make them so that I can sell them. That would be a lot of fun, I think, making baskets like that. Don't remember what's in here. Oh, yes. I can see it. This was a splurge. I don't even know if I want to tell you how much I spent on this. This is where it came from. This is going to have to be the centerpiece for my... So the reason that this comes out is this is a working clock, and I don't have a battery in it right now, but it comes with, he included a battery, and I'm not going to put the battery in until I'm ready to put this in my living room because I don't want to wear out the battery, and I'm a long way from doing my living room. But this is a jade mantelpiece clock. I'm sorry that my camera is so slow to focus in on things, but isn't that just gorgeous? And I'm not going to confess to how much I spent on that, because I think it's worth it. The artistry on this, the workmanship is just incredible. But hey, guilt-free, I said, right? It was, I believe it was $220. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? With the jade on it. Ugh. Could just look at that forever. Okay, that's the first bag. Let's continue on to the second bag. I don't think there's too much left in there. So this is from another day. So this is a freebie, I guess. I didn't even see this before. Whimsy's is a shop in Connecticut, in Greenwich, Connecticut. I live in Massachusetts, so it should be possible for me to get here. I'll have to see how far away that is. Something about special glasses that were enormously expensive, lighted glasses, but it seemed like it might be worth looking for something like that. A couple other artists here. Okay, So what I have in here, and I don't know how I got this, is a free it looks like, oh, okay. I don't know what you call this thing. It's the bracket that would be on a drawer, like a file cabinet drawer, that you would slip the piece of paper in with the label, and then there's a little label behind it that says salt. So that was a little freebie thing. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to make a salt box. You know, a little, like a salt, you know, a little storage box for the kitchen that has salt in it. And then I can put this on there. I didn't even see them sneak that in, so that was really sweet of them. Okay. So then in here we have, yes, I know what this one is. Forgotten about this until just this minute. Like, this is why this is so fun. It's like Christmas. Okay. This was all Delftware porcelain and things like that. And I do have a couple of curio cabinet curio cabinet furniture pieces for my dollhouse that I'm collecting little things to fill it up with, and I just thought this was so cute. It's a little Delftware doggy. Isn't he darling? Little doggy with a little blue nose. I just thought he was so sweet. Going here. Closing in on the end, folks. Closing in on the end. Well, maybe not. There's still a fair number of things in here. More business cards. The Little Dollhouse Company is in Toronto, and I've talked about them before because I get quite a number of things in the. So I actually got to meet them, because meet the man who runs the place, because they were there, and he's so nice, so super helpful, so super friendly. The heartfelt canines were lovely. I don't think I bought anything from them, just something that I loved and wanted to keep in mind. Marie and Michael Kreutz, I guess you would say. Shoes, clothes, doctor's bags, soft leather, all sorts of things like that. Minis to you. Just so many gorgeous things. Anyway, what do we have in here? Another one. Big stack of business cards down here. I don't think I'm going to be able to list all of these in my comments, unfortunately, because I just have so many. There may be some duplicates. Other shops that I saw was Whimsy's in Connecticut, as I mentioned, the Little Dollhouse Company, and then Tiny Dollhouse in New York, which is a shop I've actually managed to physically visit, as well as buy some things online. And they were there, and they were also, that gentleman was also super nice and super helpful and just so welcoming and friendly. It's just everybody there. I don't know if it's just because we're in the Midwest or if it's just these people, but oh, this is the card from the guy who does the $10,000 chandeliers. Oh, just dropped more business cards on the floor. I'm gonna have to have a little box or something just to keep all these business cards in and go shopping. Okay, I don't know what's in here. Can't remember. Isn't this fun? Merry Christmas. What is in here? Oh, yes. Okay, so this is, I think, not an artisan item. Oh, 2 free batteries. This is wonderful. This I think you can probably find online at more than one source. But I loved the color of it. It's a battery-operated switch-on light. Probably doesn't have a battery in it right now. Yeah, it doesn't have a battery in it right. Oh, it does. Look at that. But I just thought the style, because of the, you know, the brass color or whatever, was actually really well suited to my house. So I think this will end up in my living room. I love the chain thing. I think it has that sort of like pre-Art Deco look. I guess I would describe my house as more or less Edwardian, with some treasures from the past that they've kept, you know, things that have been in the family for a long time, so they haven't gotten rid of them. But maybe, I was thinking maybe there would, you know, there would be some things that are a little more modern. Maybe one room that's been a little more updated than others or something like that. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to put those batteries in there. These are batteries you can easily get, but I might as well keep them at the light for now. Now, I bought that chandelier after I had bought this other chandelier that I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure I'm going to keep. Mostly I've been buying my lighting online, and that's fine. Sometimes, once in a while, I get something and I'm like, I don't know if I love that. If I don't love it, I resell it in my shop, because these are not artisan pieces, so I can do that. It's just I'm not making money on them because I didn't buy them at wholesale. So this was the first chandelier I bought, just because I liked the shape of it, and I thought this one has to be wired in, and I thought it looked really good. But now that I have the other one, I don't know if I like this one as much, and I'm not sure I'm going to use it. The other room that I would maybe put a chandelier in my house is the library, or possibly I would put one in the hallway or the entrance room there. So I don't know. This may end up in my shop just as a resale, pre-owned, but never used kind of thing. It's not, I don't dislike it, I just like the other one so much better. And I would almost be inclined to maybe get more of the other one and use more of them. So I'm kind of leaning toward not keeping this one and putting it in my shop as a resale. And I do occasionally do that. If I buy something that I think I don't love this enough to use it myself, there's nothing wrong with it. It might be somebody else's style, it's not mine. And I'll you know, just sort of recoup my spending by putting it in my shop, just to kind of you know, recoup what I can of that expense to get that money back to spend elsewhere. Okay, what have we got in here? Oh, this is more of the wooden toys. Remember I said that I had gone there twice. I went back the next day and got those tiny ones for the Christmas tree. But the first day I bought a couple of pieces just to have in the children's room. 3 pieces to have in the children's room as little toys. And these would just be little pull toys. There's a bear. I think I might try to, I don't know if I would attach a string to them or not. I might. Maybe they just roll them around. This one's an ostrich. And again, I kind of like them unpainted. My friend who bought some of these plans to paint hers, but I kind of, I don't know, I like this wooden finish, and I'm not sure I want to paint them. I just sort of like the natural look of them, but they're so sweet and they're so tiny. I love them. And again, they just, you know, I was so afraid to touch these because they thought they would break, but they just kind of fling them around and toss them in a little container or bag or something, and they don't seem to break. Maybe they're too small to break. They don't weigh enough to break themselves. This is another kit. These are leaves to make a little, I don't think there's an end. So this is from Dragonfly. These were all potted plants, and you cut these out, glue them onto stems, and you put them in a little pot of your choosing. There were all different kinds. And I was getting a little frustrated here because they had, I don't know, maybe 30 plants, 35 plants, something like that on display. And I'd say, oh, I like that one. And I'd go to the file box where the kits were, and they were sold out. And like the first 7 or 8 plants that I picked out were sold out. And then this one I finally found. And I think that the instructions are all in there. And I think you coat them with something like Mod Podge or Crafter's Glue or something to give them like a little extra sturdiness and, you know, heft. This is also a kit, and I don't know where they are. I'll have to look. They might be my suitcase, but I actually did go and buy, I went back to this place and bought, because this was all, this is a card I cannot lose, nothing but fittings and beadwork, and then they had all these different kits of things that you make up from this different kind of beadwork and stuff. And they just had endless supply of different beads and things, you know, like you could make purses and frames and it's just boxes and trays and chandeliers and everything out of all of these fittings. It was just so wonderful. And I'm a little nervous because I can't find right now, but I would guess that it's still in my only half unpacked suitcase. But I did buy half dozen little pieces of their beading stuff. If I don't find it, it's not the absolute end of the world because none of those things were terribly expensive, and you know, it's not like I didn't buy that many. I probably bought 6 pieces just to play around with, and I wouldn't be the, you know, most heartbreaking loss if I can't find them. This was the first thing I bought, and I was just in love with this. My original plan was to look on the first day and shop on the second day. And I didn't buy very much on the first day because I was so nervous that I would spend all my money too quickly and then find something else that I loved even more. But I just felt absolutely in love, madly in love with this dress. It was the perfect dress for my era, for like, not for the daughter, she'd be a little more, you know, trendy, but for the mom or the grandmom of this house, like I can see the mother of the house wearing this for sure, with a little hat. And this is going to hang on the door in her bedroom, hang on the back of the door, or maybe like inside a wardrobe or something. But they only had this one, and I couldn't pass it up, so that was my first purchase. I had to buy that. This shop, which was... I know I mentioned them earlier when I was looking through the cards. I can't remember. They had all sorts of shirts and dresses and suitcases and shoes and, you know, men's pants and jackets and everything on hangers like this. And I looked at this and went, I know fabric. I can do this. It'll take me a while to learn to do something this beautiful, but it looks to me like these are probably glued. No, there's no seams. If you look under here, under the hemlines, there's no sewing in the hem. I'm pretty sure it's glued in place, which, you know, is, I didn't like that idea at first, but when I look at this, I'm like, no, that's the way it should be done, really, because you could not get a thread fine enough to make this, by stitching it and have it look this perfect. But I just felt like this is something that I could and would love to learn to do. So that's my last piece, except for those little beaded fitting pieces, which I need to find, which have probably just escaped into my suitcase somewhere. And I'll check through all these bags. Oh, wait. Did I already go through this? Maybe there's something in there. Yeah, those are the kits, so I've been through that. Yep. So it's probably just in my, probably just lost in my suitcase somewhere. So that's my haul. I love it all still. I'm so excited. Just that one lamp that I think I'm going to probably post in the shop for somebody who wants to work in that color. It really is a nice chandelier. It's just, I don't love the gold color. I've never been a real fan of gold. I did buy that vanity set kit with the perfume bottles and things like that in gold, which I think, you know, will be fine. I love it. They didn't happen to have that one in silver. I just kind of, for some reason, prefer pewter, silver, copper. I find the gold things for the dollhouse just, I don't know, they just don't appeal to me as much. I bought that gold chandelier because I loved the shape of it and the style of it, but then I found the other one that I liked even better. So this one, I think, like I said, will probably end up in my shop for somebody else to use because it's perfect for them. But I had a wonderful time. If you've never been to the Chicago Bishop Miniature Show, they claim it's the biggest one in the world. I would not be surprised. It is huge. Give yourself 2 to 3 days of the whole thing to go. If you can swing it to go to a workshop, highly recommend it. My friend Karen said we are going back next year, and I love her for that because she will make me do it, whereas I would be like, oh, I know I shouldn't spend the money. But she said, no, we're starting to save right now. We're going to do it. So I love her for that because she will make me do things that what's life about? I can't take money with me. Obviously, I need to not, indebt myself or, ruin myself financially. But if I don't buy coffee and make coffee at home and, do those little things, like those little small trade-offs are just so worth, those small sacrifices are just so worth what I would get for being able to go on a trip like this. And I say that, I mean, for lots of people, it's probably no big deal to, hop on a plane and go away for a few days. But I know there's lots of people like me who live on a really tight budget. We still have kids that we're trying to launch and help them get launched, and, college debts that we're helping them with, and things like that. And, the realities of the economy and our career situations and things like that. And I'm rambling now, but I sometimes get frustrated with, people will say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that, and they're off doing this and they're off doing that, and I'm kind of like, well, I can't. And I think sometimes those of us who have to be careful with our money get overlooked in these things. And so, I had thought about this show for a long time, and my friend talked me into it, and she travels quite a lot, so she had membership points that she could use and, get us into this hotel right where the show was, and so she took care of that for me. God bless her. I mean, she's so good to me. But she loved me because she said, I spend my whole life making decisions for people and organizing things for people, and my work is all about making decisions and organizing and organizing. And she said, you be in charge. I don't want to have to make any decisions. So basically, she paid for a hotel room. We split all of the other expenses, and I pretty much told her what to do most of the time. And she loved it. She was just like, you decide. I don't want to think about it. You decide. And I just got to be the boss. It was just so much fun. But if you have something like this that you really want to do, like, find your $5 a week. And if it takes you 2 years to save up for it, it's worth it. It's worth it. I initially told my husband, don't get me anything for my birthday. Give me the money that you would spend on my birthday. And that went into my bank account, my jar. Literally, I had a glass jar that I was putting dollars and cents into for this trip. And so, that was my birthday present last year, was money toward this trip. And then, my family cooked me a nice dinner so that I could still feel like I had something nice happen on my birthday. So, where there's a will, there's a way. And I would love to be the person who's, some of the people I met at the show were flying off to the next one next week, and the next one month after that, and off to Spain for something, and off to Germany for something. And, good for them. I'm happy for them. But I don't ever want to find myself in the position of being bitter because I'm not those people. I have a good life. I have a lot of things and a lot of people I love in my life. And this event was super special because it was kind of a one-of-a-kind moment. And hopefully I get to do it again. Even if I don't go to any of the other shows, I would do this one again. So I'm rambling. I'm going to stop there. I hope you enjoyed seeing my haul, and I hope you have a good day and a good opportunity today to make something, rearrange something in your dollhouse project. All right. Love y'all. Bye.